Well, good evening and welcome to Livingston High School in Livingston, New Jersey on Jacobson Field's beautiful home turf. It is the last home game of the regular season on the schedule for the Livingston Lancers as it's senior night as they host the 7-6-1 visiting Verona Hillbillies. The Lancers come into this one with a very strong record of 12-3-1 and a county semifinal appearance. The state tournament starts on Monday. We're wrapping up the season. I'm Ryan Lowy. We've got a whole crew on camera today. Coming up next, senior night festivities right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS network.
He's going to take it himself for a championship. A double play wins it from Frazier.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. The guy is on touchdown.
Into the layup goes at the buzzer.
Wins it. The championship.
Well, we'd like to welcome you back to Jacobson Field on the campus of Livingston High School in Livingston, New Jersey. I'm Ryan Lowy. And now we are going to take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Verona Hillbillies here on Livingston's senior night. Goalkeeper will be Scott Duffy. We also see Jake Vogel, the junior, Nicholas Handler, the senior, Christian Dispecci, the senior, number 14, Sean Steifbold, the junior, Andrew Delaferra, number 16, the senior, number 17, Ray Chesney, a junior, sophomore Ying Riley, and number 20, Spong Evan. Number 23, John Henry Cleaver, the senior, and number 0 in goal, as I said earlier, is Scott Duffy. And now for the hosting Livingston Lancers, Coach Rubinetti said he will be sending the entire senior class, all 11 of them, to start tonight. A high honor for all of them. Logan Paredes, the goalkeeper, who's had a phenomenal year. We also see Lucas Chisrick, number 2, number 8, Benjamin Goldsmith, number 11, Lav Siegel, number 12, Jared Fisk, number 14, Alex Yuck, number 16, Matthew Hoffman, number 17, Noah Fisher, number 20, Mr. Speed, Krish Malhotra, number 21, Colin Miller, and then to wound things up, number 13, Jake Fitzgerald. Those are your 11 starters for both teams. Starting off with the visiting Verona Hillbillies and switching over to all 11 seniors starting for the Livingston Lancers. In terms of weather tonight, it's going to get a little windy, small chance of rain, but not too much. Senior night festivities right around the corner. Stay tuned right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS network.
One of New Jersey's premier high school basketball teams gets their coverage from D1 Media Pro, and it goes like this.
Finds Floyd to tie things up. Tie game. 62 apiece. 90 seconds. Floyd attacking and throws it down. Corey Floyd. Missed opportunity down low, behind the back to Bueno and one. Lawrence with Floyd to lob it up, and a slam! It's too low for Dunn. Wilcher to Floyd, lays it in, and one on the lob. Thought about the three, drives, baseline. Oh, what a start for Corey Floyd! Here with Corey Floyd after a tough... Wilcher, 3. Got it! Simeon Wilcher is fired up! And Simeon Wilcher,
High school senior night between the Verona Hillbillies, coached by Coach Weber and Adler, versus Livingston High School Lancers. Before we get started announcing the seniors and their parents, we would like to just acknowledge the seniors from the Verona Hillbillies. Congratulations, senior class, and good luck. And now for our seniors and their families. First, number 2, Lucas Chisaric and family. Number 8, Ben Goldsmith and family. Okay. Ben's gonna get a doctor family right now. Okay, number 11, Lav Siegel and family. Number 12, Captain Jared Fisk and family, Mr. and Mrs. Fisk. Number 13, Jake Fitzgerald, and Mr. and Mrs. Fitzgerald. Number 14, Alex Yuck, and family. Number 16, senior Matthew Hoffman, and Mr. and Mrs. Hoffman. Number 17, Captain Noah Fisher and family. Number 20, Chris Malhotra with Mr. and Mrs. Malhotra. Number 21, Colin Miller and family. Mr. and Mrs. Miller. And now we're ready for number 8, Ben Goldsmith and family. Traffic delays. And senior captain Logan Paredes and family. Congratulations once again to all families of Livingston High School and the Verona Hillbillies. Good luck, seniors. Thank you.
All right, so that was the senior night festivities for the 11 seniors here at Livingston High School for the boys varsity soccer program this year, head coached by Coach Rametti, assistant coach Joe Gill, assistant coach Lopez, and assistant coach Charney. We have soccer coming up next, last home game of the season on the schedule, as the Lancers host the Verona Hillbillies. Verona coming into this one with a record of 7-6-1, and the Lancers here on senior night with a strong record of 12-3 and looking to pick up their 13th win. Stay tuned.
New Jersey, that was... I can't see it. Blacked out. It's blurry. Well, it's supposed to be blurry.
This one's obvious.
Blackhawks or Ducks?
So obvious.
Oh no! Blackhawks!
What did you say the first time? I didn't even
I
read.
said Rangers, it's Blackhawks.
Yeah, it's Blackhawks.
Time in Chicago was the home team twice. So, this is not a gimme series for Edmonton. I still make the other succinct.
We're back here at Livingston High School in Livingston, New Jersey for senior night. I'm Ryan Lowy commentating, and now we're going to take a look at the keys to the game, starting off with the visiting Verona Hillbillies. Different starters they're taking on against the Livingston Lancers. They're taking on all 11 seniors. A lot of them in the starting lineup, but it's a different look, a little less chemistry coming into this game, but this is a squad that freshman year absolutely dominated, so I do have to keep in mind about that as well. And press heavy. This Livingston team likes to manage the ball on the defensive side. They're successful at it, but with a lot of pressure, you never know, they could crack. And then for the Livingston Lancers, control the pace of the game. The Lancers are always known for controlling the pace of the game, starting from the defense up. They're a very defensively strong squad that is able to propel defenders turned offenders into a very strong weapon, put goals in the back of the net, usually score a goal or two and try and rely on that to defend the game. And then rely on the back line, as I said earlier. In order for the Lancers to control the pace, the back line is the key to it. The back line has really just been successful. A lot of their starters have come from the back line. Last year, Zach Feldman started up top. He usually developed his game at the back line at the club level and played a lot of back line his freshman year for the Lancers going to sophomore year. Noah Fisher plays up top a lot, same thing as Charlie Grossman, both defensive players who can even shift up to the CDM position. They play a lot in the back as well, and they play up top. So this whole Livingston Lancers team is just defensively heavy that really works from defense up. So that is definitely a key to the game for them. They're taking on a Verona team that they're, no doubt about it, favored to come up with the win against, which is what I predict as well. This Verona team, though, not too shabby themselves, a 7-6-1 record. The Lancers, 12-3-1. Those are your keys to the game, presented to you right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFH's network. So we're just about 3 minutes and 40 seconds away from kickoff. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have soccer for the last time on the schedule this regular season here at the Jake.
Up the middle, barreling towards the goal line. Baldwin is in for a Vance touchdown.
Right down the middle, man. This guy, and he keep going, and he
the ball's loose.
And they hop back on it, and that's a touchdown.
Short punt, bounces at the 35, fielded at the 40 by Quick, out to the corner. He's got blockers and a lot of green grass in front of him. Cuts back, he's in for a touchdown.
Swing pass in the flat.
Gets to the corner, he's going to get in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Good job, block. Third down and 17, a handoff, getting to the outside. There's a hole, there's a first down, and all the way to the races is Elijah McWilliams to the house for a touchdown and for an IMIC for a division championship.
Hands up, Jack. On the suit. Took him and decreating. Horton dribbles into the front court to Khalil Whitney. Go into the basket and the jam.
With them because they are getting resources from the city. They are getting resources, and they're arguing with us about the timeliness of those resources.
right, team, listen up. You all have been missing way too many plays. And it's time to make some changes. Effective immediately. You'll all be joining my team, the NFHS Network. If it happens in high school, we got it covered. We've got your favorite high school sports wherever you want them, whenever you want them. Streaming live or on demand. Plus, with a few well-executed moves here, here, and here, you can find and follow your favorite school or team.
But what if I...
Hey! There is no I in the word team, but there is in the word clip, which is what you can do with our new clip and share tool. Watch the game, clip the moment, share it with all of your fans. It's simple, people. When you're teamed up with the NFHS Network, there's no excuse to miss another play. Now you get out there and you watch some sports. Your high school, your team, your game, streaming live only on the NFHS Network. Who's gonna slap that hand?
A second. Here we go. It is time for some senior night soccer right here on the D1 Media Per Page on the NFHS Network. I am Ryan Lowy on the call today, as the Livingston Lancers will start all 11 of their seniors, and Verona starting 11 as well are currently getting their photo on the left side of your screen. Miles Dack's currently on camera, as we will now meet in the middle. Both teams will stand on their 45-yard line, I should say, in their lineup for the rules and regulations of the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association. Today's player to watch for the Livingston Lancers is going to go to Jared Fisk. The Vassar College commit has had a phenomenal year for the Livingston Lancers. He's tied with junior Charlie Grossman with the most goals with 9, and then he has the most points, as he has one more assist than Charlie Grossman with 5 as well. Fisk last year led the Lancers in goals, and this year very much likely will be an all-conference first or second team, if not easily an honorable mention player. He's just had a phenomenal year. He's a captain, and he's really just led the Lancers to success. He had a phenomenal game in our last production in the Lancers tie versus a very strong Montclair squad, which came even closer to taking down the Seton Hall Pirates, who took down both right here the Verona Hillbillies and the Livingston Lancers this year. Livingston lost to Seton Hall Prep 2-0 on the road at the Kelly Athletic Complex. You can catch most of Livingston's home and even some away games on the on-demand function on the D1 Media Per Page on the NFHS Network, as now the head official will be reading off the rules and regulations for today's game. Verona on the left side of your screen, Livingston on the right side of your screen. It's the full roster for both teams lined up. The head coach for the visiting Verona Hillbillies, Jack Weber, and for the Livingston Lancers, head coach Roger Rubinetti. Assistant coaching-wise for the Verona Hillbillies, they have Brandon Adler, John MacArthur, and Christian Alfano. And for the Livingston Lancers, assistant coach Lopez, assistant coach Gill, and assistant coach Charney. So here we go. Both teams have now departed from their 45-yard line, and we are getting ready for some senior night soccer. Stay tuned right here on the D1 Media Pro Page on the NFHS Network.
He's going to take it himself for a championship!
A double play wins it the free. Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. McKay's on touchdown.
Into the layup goes at the buzzer.
Wins it. The championship.
Coming into this game, as we'd like to welcome you back for the Verona Hillbillies, they hosted West Essex and were able to win 2-0. West Essex's team with a very strong start. They went undefeated for the first 5 or 6 rough games, then lost a game, then won a couple, and now have fallen to 500 as where they were expected. And for the Livingston Lancers on Friday, a 3-2 huge win over a struggling but always fighting East Side team that is also hovering around the 500 mark. So both teams took on 2 very strong 500 programs that are a little better than their records would say in some cases, and then vice versa in other cases. And both teams here tonight looking for a big win, as they've both been seeded just a couple days ago for the state sectional tournament set to kick off on Monday for the boys and Tuesday for the girls. For the Livingston girls, they will play on Tuesday versus Passaic. They were county finalists, and for the boys, county semifinalists here on their senior night tonight, hoping to take down the Verona Hillbillies. They will take on a Monday right here at the main turf a very strong and a very scary team that come in to be known as Columbia High School. However, the Lancers did take them down multiple times this year. The first time they beat them 4-1 right here, and they also beat them in the county tournament. However, their record is very strong, and outside of playing the Lancers, they are a very threatening team. They have well over a 500 record. That will be Monday for the Livingston Lancers. And for the Verona Hillbillies, currently at the moment, according to NJ.com, their first playoff game will be versus Palisades Park at home. The time is to be announced, but it will likely be at the 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock window. That will also be on Monday, 11/1 as well. So top of the month will be the top of the next level of soccer here in New Jersey, as it will be the state tournament. Lancers, obviously more of a threat as in the county tournament, which was their last tournament, I should say, generally. They were semifinalists. Verona struggled to get past the opening round. So Livingston, all 11 seniors out. Verona, very experienced side, as they have 2 sophomores in the starting lineup. The rest, upperclassmen of juniors and mainly seniors. So Livingston will now get into their huddle. It's an all-senior huddle at the moment. The huddle will be led by the captains of Jared Fisk, Logan Paredes in goal, and of course, who had a phenomenal game last game, putting up a hat-trick's worth of goals versus Eastside Noah Fisher. A very highly anticipated, exciting senior night game. Decent attendance of parents and other family, as well as Lancers, students, and other fans like alumni, as we saw a couple come on in earlier. So the second official has just shown up. Looked like we were going to have to roll with one for a while. Today's goalkeeping matchup, we were going to see Scott Duffy in goal for the Verona Hillbillies. Scott Duffy is a senior goalkeeper. He has 6 saves on the season. He actually was the backup to Marcus Benninghoff, who has 33 saves on the season, who will be backing up. And for the Lancers, back in the starting lineup after taking a red card a couple weeks ago, who has actually had a couple of successful starts and victories now, is Logan Paredes. He's had a phenomenal season. He spent 2 previous years on varsity behind 2 phenomenal goalkeepers, Elijah Elser his sophomore year and his junior year. Benjamin Pollock, who both were all-conference goalkeepers. Benjamin Pollock, although was not first team like Elijah, was able to give up the least amount of goals in the state of New Jersey at the helm with only 2. So now both teams are in their starting formations now, as the Hillbillies will kick it off with Sean Steifbold. As the weather a little chilly, but perfect for some soccer here on senior night as we get going with Lancers senior night. Verona kicks it off and botches one up in the air where Fisk heads it on up, and it will now be controlled in the backfield poorly. Siegel on the takeaway, and the Lancers will now control at the mid. Fisk a nice relay on up, and Chisrick is able to keep it on, and where it will be swept and bombed away. Relay header. Deflection. Miller will try and use his body and body off Cleaver. Tries to send one on up. Cleaver takes a touch on it. Very physical game so far as Fisk works back to Noah Fisher, starting as the sweeper, who's seen a lot of time at the CDM cam and even up top position as he swings the ball over to Mr. Speed. Mr. Speed, a phenomenal senior. Very sad this might be their last regular season home game of the season. Very likely so, as they have to prepare for Monday, not cramming their schedule with makeup games. As this will be cleaned up in the backfield and bombed up to the Hillbillies, and Fisher will let it on go for the first touch of the game for Logan Paredes, his 3rd year on varsity for the Livingston Lancers. 1st year as a starter. Aside from a tough red card, which was a debatable call in West Orange, he's just had a phenomenal year. There's a beautiful pass up by the track phenom himself, Colin Miller, and now the Lancers will control at the attacking 40 of football. Mr. Speed cuts on in, passes one on up. Fisk, the relay over to Yucht. Yucht will get his first touch of the game. Yucht, a phenomenal story he's had to get to the varsity level and get his first start on varsity tonight. Bodied off the ball is Malhotra. A good effort there by Dispecci, and it will be a throw-in for the Verona Hillbillies, the first throw-in of the night. This one's gunned on in. A poor touch right there from Cleaver. Out of bounds, Mr. Speed throw-in for the Lancers as he will gun one down the field. It's over ahead. Siegel, unable to control, it's taken away. An attempted bomb upfield is deflected in the Hillbillies' direction. Here's Sprong. He's denied, though, as there's a nice pass by Miller to Fisher in the backfield. Fisher doing the sweeping today. Able to read that one brilliantly. He'll take a progressive touch and shank a left-footed pass that is coincidentally controlled brilliantly by Fisk, which is right back to Fisher. Fisher will take a nice run on it and swing it over to Jake Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's seen a couple starts this year. Most didn't predict him to fit into the starting lineup, and then he was able to work his way on in. He's having a phenomenal year for the Lancers. Coach Ruminetti speaks very highly of him as Fisher ships one up the field, where it's bombed on up on the one touch by Chesney. Relay header in the air from Cleaver, and now Miller will swing one on up. Attempted takeaway as there's a nice play by Vogel. Vogel denied, redirected out to Chesney. Chesney tries to swing one on up. It's right off the body of the big Colin Miller, the track phenom, and it will be a throw-in now for the Hillbillies of Verona, coming to this one with a record of 7-6-1. Ryan Lowy on the call today. Jacob Gorn unable to make it, unfortunately, due to scheduling, but I will say on behalf of him and for me, we'd like to thank the Livingston Lancers for allowing us to do this year's productions of their home games and even some away games, as we were able to visit them at Seton Hall, where they took a tough 2-0 loss. Lancers a couple tough losses this year outside of the county tournament, as Lav Siegel takes a nice touch and will ship a pass on up to Chiserick that's able to be found. Chiserick. A nice pass up the line to Fisk. Fisk takes a touch on the line. The Vassar College commit, one of these very strong seniors that is able to play and continue his career in college for another 4 years. A hard worker he is as he gets it to Miller. And Miller, a nice pass to Siegel is poorly read. Shipped up in the air by the Hillbillies. We're going to see a fight between Andrade and Fisk, and Andrade pushes one on up, and Fisher will calmly read this one, and he will let it go out of play. Brilliant play there by Noah Fisher. Fisher will now throw it in. And now Miller will throw it in, and it's deflected off of Fisk. And the Lancers will earn a throw-in, as they're going to actually say it was off Chesney. So Miller guns the ball on in. Touched on up by Chiserick. Can't get to Hoffman for his first touch of the game, and De La Ferra will calm it down and pass it on far side. The Hillbillies will control. This one's bombed up the field. Hillbillies trying to win this game, playing kick and run with their strong start, as they will now control under pressure. Miscommunication, but Cleaver finds the ball. He's swarmed by 2 Lancers, and this ball will roll out of play after it's deflected. A nice read there from Steifbold, who will now earn a throw-in for the Hillbillies. Steifbold will throw it on in himself now far side. He guns one up. Fisher calmly reads this one and shields it out of bounds, where Logan Predis will get his first goal kick here on this senior night, which will come from the 6-yard box. Tapped on in, here's Noah Fisher. Up to Colin Miller. Miller, a nice gun up the field. This one's headed and controlled and bombed on away there by Handler. Nice win by Fitz. Sends this one up the field, is headed up by Vogel. But right to Mr. Speed himself, who takes a couple controlled touches and finds Fisher, who calms it down and jolts one up the field. It's going to be a foot race. Chiserick going in like a bullet, and he earns the ball. Passes one over to Hoffman. Hoffman deflected on out to Fisk. Fisk calmly controls, passes it on back to Goldsmith. Goldsmith on the touch, ships it far side. Mr. Speed passed on up. Goldsmith. Spinorama, as he will try and fight for the ball off a Steifbold. Able to earn it. He will try and settle down as it's cleared away. He says he did not get a touch on the ball, which will be confirmed by the far side official. A 2-official lineup tonight. Second one just showed up just on time. So we have not 2 but 4 eyes on the game this evening, as this ball is thrown on in from Mr. Speed far side. Couple heads on the ball. Fisk takes it down. Oh, gun one with the left foot. It escapes the back line, but is easily picked on up there by Scott Duffy, getting a start in goal tonight for the Verona Hillbillies. Punted on up to the attacking 44, the Lancers. Controlled by Siegel. He'll ship one up to Hoffman. Hoffman in between 2 center defenders, but it is interrupted by Duffy, and we will do it again with the Duffy punt. That was his second of the game, as this one will be deflected right back to the Lancers once again. Siegel cannot get a control on the ball, as this one will roll into the Lancers' territory, where it is thrown on in by Miller. The Hillbillies will try and control. Fought off the ball now is Andrade. The Lancers will take it away after a couple deflections. This one passed right away by Miller. Trying to make something happen is Cleaver, but once again the Lancers interrupt. Spong tries to send one up. He'll pass and control. Shipped far side brilliantly right there. Chesney, a nice touch. He will try and get by Chiserick. Chiserick fights him, able to cross it on, and then the finish off the crossbar. Ball still in the air under pressure. Batted away. Paredes goes down. He'll get the call, as this one still does not find the net. Ho-ho! That shot off the crossbar. Verona so close to getting this one started in their favor, but we remain with a scoreless draw at the moment. Paredes breathing a sigh of relief. Gets it to Fisher, and Fisher bombs one on up where it's headed right in the direction of Chesney. Chesney passes it up, and the Hillbillies control. Andrade. Botched away. Here's Vogel. Fisher on the takeaway. An excellent sweeping job by Fisher, who taps one and is able to mag a Hillbilly to get it to Chiserick. Chiserick zooms on up. Takes a heavy touch. He'll lose it as it's batted away aggressively by Ying. And it's a Lancers throw-in. It will come from Colin Miller, who came off the injury list just a couple days ago. Hurt his foot as that one fits and is relayed on up. A little back and forth kick and run soccer at the moment. Hillbillies hit the crossbar in a nice attempt off of the cross from Chesney. Hillbillies were able to find a head on it, but they just couldn't finish, and then a call on the redirect opportunity bailed out Paredes, and the Lancers, as we're 9 minutes in, 31:20 left to go right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFA. Just now Ryan Lowy on the call. Outside the foot cross is denied. Lancers will try and control. Yuck tries to relay one on up. Unsuccessful. Hillbillies miscommunication. Ball still in the air. A backheel. This ball finds Andrade. Andrade tries to bully his way on upfield. This one is out for a Olgan Paredes goal kick from the 6. So the goal kick now from the 6. Paredes will send the Lancers up. He wants to show off the boot. A couple Lancers now warming up. Looks like it's Zach Feldman and Aaron Henselvitz, 2 Lancers defensive starters who let the seniors take the reins this evening. Has a nice play by Hoffman to bully everyone off the ball. Pass far side. Chiserick works a beautiful 1-2 with Fisk. Chiserick tries to open up the field. Cuts back. Finds Fisk. Fisk from captain to captain. Works his way down the line. Going one-on-one with Chesney. He is able to work a deflected cross that is punched away, and Fisk will work it back. Fisk drives on through. He opens up the field. He taps one. No one's there. Yucked. Finds it. Passes one to Siegel. Siegel's finish is wide. As watching it go by is Scott Duffy. As we're over 10 minutes in, it's still 0-0. Both teams created opportunities. Hillbillies off the crossbar and almost scored after Paredes was fouled. And then the Lancers, a couple nice opportunities worked from Fisk and Chiserick's 1-2. And then Yuck's save of a nice attempt by the Lancers, cleared away. And now Nicholas Handler will bomb it up on the free kick from the 6 off of Lob Siegel's poor one-touch finish. That went wide. Headed into pressure. Fisher, chased on all sides, bombs one up and brilliantly clears it away. Right off of one bounce, Yuck cannot keep it in as he touches it while it's already out of bounds. It's a throw-in for the Hillbillies. 29:10 left to go. Feldman and Henselvitz continuously warming up. 2 very strong Lancers players. Henselvitz last year played academy football. Feldman, 3rd year on varsity. Tonight is the night to tell the story of all these seniors for the Livingston Lancers, though, as now I think it is time to spotlight Alex Yucht, who fought a tough injury of his arm all year, but is still playing, even with the cast on, the PESA Academy product, getting his first varsity start tonight. His sophomore year he could not play due to a massive injury, and last year he led the JV squad to an undefeated season of 3-0-3 as one of the 6 or so juniors on the roster. This year a good team player for the Lancers. So he's getting his first varsity start tonight. Fitzgerald, who currently has a touch, not shy of the starting spot this year. He's gotten a couple starts, especially in the county tournament. Started in the semifinal round in the Lancers' tough loss to the Mountaineers, 4-0. And Paredes will now overhand throw one on in. It's controlled by Colin Miller. Miller passes one away. Spong works one on up. Chesney crosses one on in where it's found, but too heavy of a touch, and Fisher gets in the way of that one. The Hillbillies will still control. Cutting around, trying to find spaces, Andrade. Ball worked far side and controlled down. Yucht earns the ball back. A nice first play of the game by Yucht. As he sends one up to Siegel, it's a little too strong, and Siegel deflects this one away for a throw-in. Excellent effort there by Lob Siegel. And it'll be a throw-in, far side, with 27.5 left to go. Here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS Network, I'm Ryan Lowy on the call for senior night. Last home game on the schedule for the Lancers as they host the Verona Hillbillies. They were supposed to have a home game versus Hillsborough this Saturday at 10, but that changed to a 12:30 game versus their rivals, the West Essex Knights. That will be at the West Essex Regional School District. This one shipped on up, and Paredes easily reads this one. Paredes will now take his time with under 27 left to go. This one is bombed on up at the 50. Touched on down and pushed into pressure by the Hillbillies. Jake Fitzgerald punches one up, headed in the air. Touchdown, and, well, nice touch there by Fisher to control. Fisher doing an excellent job controlling the pace back there is one of my keys to the game for the Lancers. Off a Hillbilly arm, but no call in the Lancers' favor. Hillbillies will continue to play on as they work one up in the air. Miller gets a head on it. It falls behind him. Miller takes a touch far side. He reads this one inbounds and toes one on up where it's taken away. But a poor read there by Vogel, and the Lancers have a throw in close side, and here come the non-seniors for the Lancers. 3 juniors check in: Charlie Grossman, Zach Feldman, and Aaron Henselvitz. The Lancers will take off Lob Siegel, Colin Miller. And we're waiting to see who the third that came off was. It's Matt Hoffman. So Henselvitz with his first touch of the game with his hands as he throws it in. It's right back to him. And this one is touched out of bounds by Chesney. The Lancers will try and work quick as Grossman's first touch is also with his hands, and he guns one out of bounds. 25.5 left to go, roughly, here on the D1 Media page on the NFHS Network. It's 0-0. Both teams a lot of opportunities. No capitalization yet, as the first substitutions of the game were made. Also checking off for the Verona Hillbillies, Cleaver. John Henry Cleaver, the senior for the Hillbillies. They have a 7-6-1 record coming into this one. Fisk works one up brilliantly. Grossman with a nice touch, but it's swept away as Fisher can't get to it. Kept on in, though. Fisk reads that one just brilliantly. The Vassar commit reads that one just excellently as he finds Mr. Speed far side. A soul roll. Passed on up to Goldsmith. Goldsmith. Jake Fitzgerald. Passed on up. Fisher. K-turn denied. Throw in Lancers far side. Still not a goal tonight. Hillbillies so close. Hit the crossbar and then fouled Paredes on 2 very close opportunities. Lancers, Lob Siegel was able to find the ball off of a nice cross attempt from Fisk that did not find a foot, and his shot was just wide as this one's attempted to be poked on up, but Chiserick finds the ball. Chiserick fights for it with his body. Sends one far side. Here's Henselvitz. Henselvitz, first year on varsity for the Lancers, a phenomenal year he's having. Absolutely dominated his freshman year for the freshman squad, led that squad as a captain, and then took his sophomore year off to focus on player development, went to go play some academy football for the soccer training academy as this one's poked away, and the Hillbillies will try and take it down the other side. 24 minutes left to go. Thrown in. Touched on up. Gunned into pressure. Feldman reads this one just brilliantly as Fitz will help with the body. Feldman now. Far side, taps one up. Here's Henselvitz. Henselvitz. Passed up is denied, and the Hillbillies control. A little miscommunication. Touchdown by Spong. Spong works it far side. A nice 1-2 to Chesney, but offsides off of Chesney's pass was Alexander Jean. My apologies. Alexander Jean is his name as he checks in early. With roughly 25 minutes left to go, he checks in. Alexander Jean, the man with 2 first names. Paredes with the free kick from inside the 18. Guns one up to the 50. Touchdown, and the Hillbillies control. Looks like off the touch with a hand on the ball was Alexander Jean. Played back in. Mr. Speed at the 50. Passes one up. Misread by Goldsmith, and the Hillbillies control as it's passed all the way to the keeper. Grossman tries to challenge, but it's just poked away to the back line by Scott Duffy. Duffy with his first heroic play of the game. Played on up. Feldman gets in the way of that one. A phenomenal sleeper the Lancers have seen play all different positions for him last year, a starting striker and midfielder. His player development with the Lancers is just brilliant. He's played everywhere, dominates at the sweeper position, and really just plays well at every position as Henselvitz takes a hard hit. Body from Alexander John as he controls and ships one far side. Tapped on up, Goldsmith finds a foot on it, a whistle blows, and the Lancers earn a call. Grossman will wait as he puts it on in, finds Fitzgerald, who pings one up the field just brilliantly. Fisher tries to find his body on it. He can't, as he's bodied off of it by DeSpecchi, who goes down and earns a Hillbillies call with 21:50 left to go here in the first half. So we're roughly a quarter through this one. Both teams with good opportunities, but still a 0-0 scoreline as El Fuego, Andy Pessoa, looks to check on in for the Lancers. He wears number 10, as we will see a Hillbillies free kick far side, addressed on inwards to the 30. Off a Lancer head and rolling into pressure, here's Feldman, and here's Feldman. Bullies his way on through, he still controls. Feldman ships one up, yucked. Poor touch as it goes out of bounds. Hillbillies throw it. Pushed on in, Mr. Speed will fight with Alexander John as it's out and Mr. Speed wins the chase. Goal kick from the 6s. El Fuego checks on in and he will take out Ben Goldsmith. Warming up for the Lancers, number 4, Dylan Santucci. Santucci, a swing player for the Lancers. Coach Rubinetti's new project, a bunch of swing players this year who see both varsity and JV time, varsity practicing, JV time in games, as well as some varsity time as well. Both the JV and freshman team played earlier today. .20 left to go here in the first half. Free kick for the Hillbillies as this one is addressed on in. Headed under pressure and waves wide, as closest to it there was Sean Steifbold. Goal kick from the 6 with 20 minutes left to go. Still not a goal this game as Dylan Santucci checks in. And a miscommunication, as Alex Yucht will check out at the right mid position. He's replaced by Dylan Santucci. Still no score as we're over halfway through the first half. Ryan Lowy on the call here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS network. Bredis puts this one on in. Here's Zach Feldman from the edge of the 18 as he dribbles on out to the football 20. Pings one on up. Headed down at the 50. A nice relay header, and here come the Hillbillies down the field, but Santucci gets in the way of that one and passes one on up. Fisk, deflected left-footed ping. Controlled by Spong. As he loses it, the Vassar commit does a brilliant job running the ball back as he ships one to Chiswick, a captain-to-captain combo. Chiswick cuts on in. His cross deflected away. No Lancers there to respond to the deflection. Fisk finally comes on in, and he steals the soccer ball. Passes one up. Grossman in the middle of the field. Far side to Santucci and relayed on backwards. Malhotra passed on through, deflected away. Nobody there but fierce Feldman as he passes one far side to Mr. Speed. Krish Malhotra, phenomenal job last year, starting right back for just about every single game the entire season. Wasn't cut short of minutes on the field, a phenomenal fullback, a role model fullback for this program. This Lancers squad last year, majority juniors last year, as they lost in the sectional finals and gave up the least amount of goals in the state of New Jersey leading up to the sectional tournament. They lost a tough 3-0 battle to Benjamin Cessio and the very, very strong Montclair Mounties squad that last year ranked in the top 10 in the state of New Jersey. Lancers finished 14th, where they came in this season ranked, after they fell out of the ranking system with a couple losses to Westfield and the Prep Pirates. They fought their way on up to roughly the 17th position as here's a shot from Fisher that's squandered on up into the breadbasket of Scott Duffy. Fisher with an open opportunity, but Duffy just reads it brilliantly. Duffy will now take his time with 17.5 left to go. Duffy punts one up to the 50. El Fuego on the read. Punches one up. Killed away. Feldman on the header to Henselwitz, who misreads that one, and it is a throw-in for Alexander John. He will leave it, though, however, for Ray Chesney. Played on upwards and headed out of bounds, and the Hillbillies will do it again closer to the 18 with under 17 minutes left to go. A Ray Chesney throw-in. And it's deflected on out for the first Hillbillies corner of the game. This corner will come in from Andrew Della Fera. Della Fera's corner as a substitution comes on in. Checking back in, the starter John Henry Cleaver, as he takes out Brandon Green, as it looks to be. So now for the Della Fera corner kick. Raises his hand and crosses one on in. Deflected out. A wall of bodies as able to find it is El Fuego. Taps one on upwards. Fisk able to find the ball. Cuts on inwards. Sends one up to Feldman. Feldman out of position. Takes a nice touch. He retreats back to his position as he far side finds Fitzgerald. Relayed on up. The junior Charlie Grossman. Up to Fisher. Fisher shot from far. Falling backwards, but finding it is Scott Duffy in goal. Good Lancers opportunity once again. Second shot of the game far from Fisher, but squandered into the goalkeeper's breadbasket. As Duffy will take his time and have his strongest punt of the game to Chiswick upstairs. El Fuego. Chach Grossman back to El Fuego. And now to Captain Jared Fisk, the Vassar College commit. At the moment, currently the only Lancer planning on playing college soccer as he's committed to a very solid D3 school, looking for some midfield insurance. And knowing Jared Fisk, I'm sure he will easily find his way into that starting lineup. Shipped into pressure. Feldman steps in the way just brilliantly of a possible run and cuts on in. A heavy touch he takes works in his favor. Finds Henselwitz, another very strong player for the Lancers. Worked on up on the 1-2. Here's Chiswick off the pass from Grossman. Chiswick. Fisher intercepted. Grossman offsides as he finds his way to the deflected soccer ball, and it's a free kick for the Hillbillies with under 15 minutes left to go here in the first half of soccer on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS Network. It's senior night for the Livingston Lancers. And their last home game of the season on the schedule. A couple more games coming up after this. They finish out their regular season this Saturday on the schedule. A 12:30 start on the road at the West Essex Regional High School. A team that had a very strong start and have now fallen to the 500 marker. Head coach of that squad, Rob Grassa. At the 50, the Hillbillies calmly control. Pinged on up. Nobody there but Henselwitz, who is called on off by the goalkeeper, Logan Paredes. 14 minutes left to go. Paredes will now take his time. Takes a couple bounces. And he will punt it away from the edge of the 18. A high, but not too far punt. Lost in the lights. Here's the floodlights are on at the Jacobson Field in Livingston, New Jersey. Headed up. Santucci. Quiet the past couple minutes. Gets a touch on the ball. Works it back. A nice play by Santucci. Santucci, a nice ball. Tries to find Fisher. Fisher chugs his way on by. He's bodied off the ball as he will try to earn it back, but a nice touch on the defensive end. This one sneaks right by Santucci, and now here come the Hillbillies as they work up the field. There's a nice pass upwards. Cleaver relays one up. Alexander John. In the way of that one is Feldman, but his touch is deflected away. And a nice play right there by Jake Fitzgerald to stop a run. As checking on in for the Hillbillies will be Brandon Green. And a reminder to tune in this Friday as the Livingston Lancers, who came up just short of a playoff spot after their loss to Montclair in multiple overtimes this past Friday, will finish up their season and say goodbye to a couple seniors on their last game of the season. It will be on the road at Bloomfield High School as they will take on the Bloomfield Bengals. It's on the D1 Media page on the NFHS Network. I will be on the call with Jacob Gorn, Jordan Cooper on camera. This one shipped up into pressure Possible opportunity for the Hillbillies as this shot does not even find even near the frame. Substitution. Leo Andrade checks in for the Hillbillies as looks like chugging his way off. Where's number 14? Sean Stiefbold. 12-12 left to go as this one's tapped on in. Here is Fierce Feldman dribbles outside the 18. At the football 30. Takes his time as he's finally pressured. He ships one upfield. There's a strong pass to Chiserick. Relayed up in the air by the rear guard. There's a nice cut on in. The Hillbillies try and control. Nice little Maradona by Della Ferra. As he passes on backwards, is a nice sweeping pass there from Nicholas Handler. Taken away, though. Here come the Lancers. Fitzgerald taps one up. It's redirected right on back and controlled. Feldman. A nice cut on inwards. Passes one up. Mr. Speed. A redirection, and the Lancers will now control. A big touch by Fitz. Relayed over to El Fuego. Let's see. Leaves one for Henslevitz. Aaron Henslevitz. Passed on up. Charlie Grossman. Soul roll. And he ships one into no man's land with 11 minutes left to go in the first. It's still a 0-0 soccer game here. Senior night for the Livingston Lancers at Al Jacobson Field in Livingston, Essex County, New Jersey. It's an SEC conference matchup. Both teams already see their spots in the standings as the playoff brackets have been made. Bombed on up. Paredes takes his time, quickly guns one on in after a slow pickup. Henslevitz, the left fullback, uses his left foot just brilliantly as he ships one up to Fisher. Fisher with a nice chest touch. Pass to Fisk as he'll have to cut on far and play Mr. Speed at the right backing position. Almost acting as a wing back currently at the moment as he will try and make a run on in. Works a little 1-2 with Santucci and cuts on back in. His chip up, played in the air, and kicked up. El Fuego. Jared Fisk loses it. El Fuego calls off the Dogs. He splits the defenders as he finds Lucas Chiserick. Chiserick will try and work a one-on-one. Can he get by Chesney? Yes, he can as he ships one into pressure, and the redirected shot squandered. And into Scott Duffy's hands. A nice attempt by the Lancers, but it just couldn't be poked on in. It was a little too weak and seared just a little bit too much, like a pancake. 9:40 left to go. Looks like a Hillbilly had a hand on the ball, and it was Della Ferra, Andrew Della Ferra, the senior. As it will be a free kick for the Lancers with 9.5 left to go in the first half. Pending substitution for the Hillbillies. Stiefbold and Cleaver will check in. Stiefbold played the first 30 minutes of the game before checking out. Or actually, I should say 20. Hand raised and kicked on up by Fisk. The head doesn't find the ball for the Hillbillies nor the Lancers. Under pressure and out of bounds, it's a throw-in. It will come far side. Nice throw-in by Fitzgerald. Calmly read under pressure by El Fuego. Back to Fitz, who bombs one up the field. It will find a Hillbilly head and calmly cleared away. And routinely played out of play for a Lancers throw-in. A good effort by the Hillbillies defense there as they play safe with 8.5 left to go in the first half. Thrown in. The Hillbillies control. Taken away. This pass on in from Santucci. Intercepted. Hillbillies at the 50. This one's bombed on up, and Feldman won't have to do too much sweeping as he's called on off by Paredes, who brilliantly rolls this one on in. Henslevitz can afford to and does take the heavy touch. It's a set touch as he ships one that's punched away. Attempted for Chiserick, who almost finds the ball again, but it's poked on upwards once again. The Hillbillies control. Here's El Fuego. Cuts on in. Slide tackles through, but he can't find the soccer ball. Pinged into pressure. Feldman easily reads this one and calmly plays one on up. Now Fuego on the touch. And this ball rolls and is somehow stays in play as it's calmly read and punched over to Paredes and right back to where it came from. Jake Fitzgerald with 7.5 left to go. Pings one up the field over the head of the farthest up Noah Fisher. Santucci will put pressure on, try and earn the ball back. Santucci can't find it still. Rolled away, a nice body attempt right there as he's denied is Nicholas Handler. The Lancers control. Mr. Speed tries to punch one on up. It's directed away, but El Fuego controls. Finds far side to Chiswick. Chiswick, top touch. Chips one up brilliantly to Charlie Grossman. Grossman deflected off the ball. He'll try and run onto it. This one somehow stays in play and is kicked on up. Andy Pessoa plays back. Aaron Henselvitz. Henselvitz. Too light of a pass as it's intercepted by Green. After a deflection, the Hillbillies still control and will take their time with 6.5 left to go. Still a 0-0 scoreline. Pass far side, and El Fuego gets the call as the attempted run there. Illegal. So the Lancers look to make a substitution. The Hillbillies attempt to make 2 substitutions. It looks like ready to check on in for them will be Steifbold and Cleaver. And for the Lancers, Miller. Henselvitz. Right foot ping up the field. Fisher definitely onside as he stumbles, and he does not look to be all right as he limps and is still on his feet as Grossman gets a little chippy there, and he earns the Hillbillies a free kick. He shares a word with the official, and he does not get a card as he's given a warning at the moment. In high school soccer, unlike pretty much any other soccer, you have to come off, even with the yellow card, but instead of a red card for a yellow, only temporarily. Feldman intercepts. Can't earn the ball as he's bodied off of it. Despecki works far side with 5:10 left to go in the first half. Hillbillies try and create an opportunity, deflected off of Mr. Speed, who raced on into the play. Hillbillies control. Passed on back. An excellent read there by Della Ferra. Played on up. Ying. And Henselvitz doesn't make too much of an effort there as this one sears wide. Couple substitutions as also checking in for the Lancers is Chris Kane. The same 2 that we expected for the Hillbillies will check in as well. Now, looks like Miller will get a try on the right side for the first time in his high school career as he takes out Mr. Speed. Chris Kane checks in. Played in with 4.5 left to go. Fierce Feldman from his own 20 football yard line works to Aaron Henselvitz and right back to Feldman. The Lancers control calmly in the back. Colin Miller on the right side using his left foot. Passes back to the back line, and this one is shipped far side to Henselvitz, and Henselvitz pings one up. This might roll just a little bit too quickly, but no, it won't. Chris Kane will keep it in. Chris Kane tries to cut on in, and he loses the soccer ball, tripped up on his own feet. And it looks like the Hillbillies will clean this one on up as it's cleared away by Steifbold. Into pressure is Feldman, but he will use his back option. Paredes. Feldman. Feldman. In the middle of the field at his own 18. Works to Henselvitz with 3.5. Henselvitz. Short pass to Chiswick, who reads this one out of bounds off his touch, and it's a throw-in that will come from Steifbold and the Verona Hillbillies. Still a 0-0 scoreline as we're nearing the end of the first half. Steifbold will throw it on in near the Lancers bench. It's been a quiet day for both benches. Not too much enthusiasm is not really necessary. Only a couple close opportunities as this pass from Henselvitz is just out of bounds. Chiswick tried to give it the theater of staying in, but doesn't earn it as this throw-in is punched away by Henselvitz. Under 3 minutes left to go. We have not seen a clock stoppage yet because we haven't seen any goals or major injuries or any whatnot like that, as this one's played on up. And a nice play there, who's having a phenomenal game, Jake Fitzgerald. An interesting effort there by Chris Kane, as it looks like it almost worked out in his favor, but just quite didn't. But cleaning up the mess is Colin Miller, as he does an excellent job using his big frame for a Lancers throw-in with 2.5 left to go. Quickly thrown on in. Deflected up. Back and forth with the heads and punched up in the air by Fisk. Whistles come in as it's caught by Grossman, and he will quickly drop this one and play the free kick on in. Swarmed by 3, but taking a nice touch to calm down the play is Fisher. Fisher taking just a few touches, trying to see if any of the Hillbillies will take the bait, but he won't because he plays it on out to Henselwitz, who shanks one on in where it's touched away. Fitzgerald collides with who looks to be all right, Alexander John. And Grossman takes a hit. Might have sold it a little bit, but it works out. 1 3/4 minute left to go here in the first half. And Feldman, the sweeper, as the last line, will play one on in to the 50-yard line, backwards to, you got fullback Aaron Henselwitz. Henselwitz works to Feldman. Feldman tries to play one up to Fisk. Fisk too far away with 80 seconds left to go here in the first half. Looks like we might be working with a 0-0 scoreline to go in the second here on senior night. Punched up. Hillbillies had the closest opportunity today. They hit the crossbar on a cross that came from Ray Chesney. And then on the redirect attempt, as the ball was punched in the air by a Lancer, Paredes was fouled, giving him a break, as here's a Lancer's opportunity. Fisher's ball to Fisk, as Fisk is just bodied off the ball last second. Ball still under pressure. Nice touch by Fisher. Fisher will try and turn around and try and work a shot. Tries to cut to his right foot. He's swarmed, and his pass away is deflected, and the Hillbillies will control with 3/4 minute left to go here in the first half. At the 50, we see a fight with the bodies between De La Fera and Grossman, and looks like Miller will stop a possible corner kick opportunity with a 1/2 minute left to go before stoppage as he works a throw-in for the Hillbillies. Under pressure, Feldman punches one away. Now he taps it out of pressure. Kane can't find it. Hillbillies control. Deflected off a Lancer. Miller loses it. Now here's a Hillbillies opportunity late. Cutting on in, and Paredes just reads that one excellently to do the first half and keep it at a 0-0 score line. So that will do the first half here at the Jake. The score, 0-0 between the hosting Livingston Lancers on their senior night as they host the Verona Hillbillies to start the last week of the regular season. Stay tuned for the second half next, right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS Network.
Screen pass, out in the flat, caught, and it's a touchdown for St. Peter's. O'Donnell swinging away, puts it over the shortstop's head. That's a base hit, it'll score 1. Faraz on his way home. Throw is not in time. Going quickly, Bullock takes the snap, throws to the far side, wide open, touchdown. In there, called strike 3 looking. Mulcahy strikes out the side. He's perfect through 2. Now up ahead for the Marauders. Here comes Bigwitz. They score! Michael Benkovitz for St. Peter's Prep. Bounced on the ground to short. Faraz Fields flipped to O'Donnell 1. Throw on to first in time for a double play. Just will look back out there for the Marauders. He takes the snap. Looking over the middle. Has a man. Can he scores? Reels it in. 35. Stick on to defenders. 2 on to the 20. Once again, hit in the air to deep center field. Sicka moving on the back at the wall. It's gone! Ellis Reed with a 2-run blast. And the Marauders have a 6-0 lead.
St. Peter's Prep has the best coverage for its student athletes. Why don't you?
Want to learn how to be a talk show host? Want to be a great play-by-play announcer?
That's good!
You always have to be prepared for something to happen.
Thank you, Gary.
Sure, thank you, Matthew.
Good evening, everybody. Today is Super Bowl 54. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers.
But sometimes there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot going on. There's a lot on your mind.
Arizona is a tough out right now.
I think the Chiefs come out of it.
He speaks beautifully. to speak in front of people, learning how to have a conversation, learning to ask questions. These are skills that will help you in whatever you do in your life.
It's hard to get to everything we have going on here. I mean, this high school has so much. And now you're offering the ability to watch those events without having to travel there.
My dad travels a lot, so he likes to watch the events. Like if I'm playing a volleyball game and he can't make it, he'll watch it and he loves it.
I think it was homecoming. It was Friday night, and it was a punt return. And I returned it all the way back for a touchdown. And then, of course, I showed all my family members, and they really liked it. They liked to see what their family members can do.
Golden Lions.
I think this broadcast is essential because our team is global, and we got people all over the world going to watch the game. So without this, there's no way they can do that.
These kids and these players feel loved. They feel important. And by broadcasting it, you have a bigger group that you're reaching that allows them to know those kids.
Are you interested in pursuing a career in sports marketing or creating impactful sports content? You can get experience in high school by being a part of the RISE program powered by Ortho Carolina. It will give you a head start on an exciting career. The RISE program exposes students to industry professionals and gives them real-world experience by creating content and marketing the teams at their own high school. To find out how you can be a part of RISE, email us at contact@readinessandsportseducation.org.
One of New Jersey's premier high school basketball teams gets their coverage from D1 Media Pro, and it goes like this.
Finds Floyd to tie things up. Tie game! 62 apiece. 90 seconds. Floyd attacking and throws it down. Corey Floyd. A missed opportunity down low behind the back to Bueno and one. Lawrence with Floyd to lob it up for the slam. Too low for Dunn. Wilcher to Floyd. Lays it in and one on the lob. Thought about the three. Drives baseline. Oh, what a start for Corey Floyd. Here with Corey Floyd after a tough set. Wilcher, three. Got it. Simeon Wilcher is fired up. And Simeon Wilcher all alone with the flush. Here with Simeon Wilcher. And a pass taken away by Marshall. And he'll throw it down. Tosses it ahead to Valencia. Sering driving and throws it down. He can't get around and a turnover. Corey Floyd has it. Step through, lay in, build the basket. Marcus Rodi here with Roselle Catholic head coach Dave Boff. Dave, you're coming up.
Now it's your time to join.
This New Jersey Devils. I can't see it. Black out. It's blurred. Well, it's supposed to be blurry. Hear that? Blackhawks or Ducks?
So obvious.
Oh no! 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 Blackhawks! Blackhawks! What did you say the first time? I didn't even hear.
I said Rangers, it's Blackhawks.
Yeah, Blackhawks.
I'm in Chicago was the home team twice, so this is not a gimme series for Edmonton. But I still make the other system.
This is Adam, take two. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
Right up the middle, barreling towards the goal line. Baldwin is in for a Vance touchdown.
Right down the middle, man. This guy, and he keep going, and he
the ball's loose.
And they hop back on it, and that's a touchdown.
Short punt, bounces at the 35, fielded at the 40 by Quick, out to the corner. He's got blockers and a lot of green grass in front of him. Cuts back, he's in for a touchdown.
Swing pass in the flat.
If he gets to the corner, he's going to get in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Good job, block. Third down and 17, a handoff, getting to the outside. There's a hole, there's a first down, and all the way to the races is Elijah McWilliams to the house for a touchdown and for an IMIC for a division championship.
Do you want your school to be covered by the #1 live stream service in the state of New Jersey so the entire country can see moments like this?
We play once again. Free kick coming for the Mountaineers. Short shot on goal. And post in! Livingston gets the goal, and they win. They take down the #2 ranked Seton Hall Pirates.
Bullock takes the snap. He's going to take it himself. Barreling towards the goal line, and he's in. Charles Bullock from 3 yards out, and the Marauders lead it 20-7.
Or be a witness to championships like these?
Montclair are state sectional champions. They defeat Livingston 4-1, and the Mounties sweep the boys and girls brackets in back-to-back wins over the Lancers. 3-2, there goes the runners. Swing on and miss, strike 3. That does it. The Cranford Cougars are the Last Dance World Series champions.
Or have exclusive interviews with players and coaches.
Verona Silver Star pitcher Teague Mulcahy. I'm here with Cranford star Ryan Jaros. With the Bergen Crusaders star of the game, Luis De La Cruz.
Second half here at the Jake. Ryan Lowy on the call here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS Network. It was an exciting first half, but no score came in as we're getting ready for 40 fresh minutes of soccer right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS Network. Starters looking very similar for the Lancers. Couple off who started the game. Looks like Matt Hoffman and Colin Miller. And Alex Yucht will start off in terms of the seniors, as well as Lav Siegel. Verona, a mock of their starting lineup in the first half. The exact same. Not a single change as we're getting ready for the second half. Lancers in their huddle. According to the schedule, this will be their last regular season huddle at home here at the Jake. All games were at the Jake except for one. It was their 2-2 tie versus Montclair. You can catch that game and every other home game except for the exclusion of a few on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS Network. Verona in their positions, trying to keep warm here as they will play another half of soccer in this cool night here in Livingston, New Jersey. And the Lancers break out of their huddle and get ready for the second half. Dylan Santucci getting his first, I guess you could say, half start, as he will play right mid, and otherwise, typical Lancer starting lineup. El Fuego looks like he will start this second half at the CDM position. Grossman, number 9, will play it on in for the Lancers as we wait for the whistle. After a communication with Coach Rubinetti, the Lancers are ready, the Hillbillies are ready. The official is ready as he raises his hand. And let's play another half of soccer here at the Jake. The last half of the regular season, according to the Lancers schedule, is fall sports wrap-up. Lancers has played their last home game for football on Friday, where they lost to Montclair and ended their playoff run. They'll play one more game. It will be this Friday, broadcasted on the D1 Media page on the NFHS Network at Bloomfield High School on Bloomfield's football field off their campus. I'll be on the call with Jacob Gorin. It's been a pleasure commentating Livingston soccer this year. A 12-3-1 record they have coming into this game. As this one will be shipped on up, a possible attempt here for the Hillbillies. Possible run by Cleaver. He's bodied off the ball by Feldman. But Feldman got the last touch on the soccer ball, as it will now be a throw-in for the Hillbillies. A special thank you to Athletic Director of Livingston High School, Mr. Richard Porfido. Crossed on in. Caught by Logan Paredes. Of course, a special thank you to Danielle Rosenzweig, the principal, and anyone else who made today's and all Lancers productions leading up to today, any more that will happen this season possible. Paredes from the edge of the 18 will punt one. Roughly at the 50, where it takes a bounce. Grossman, an attackative touch with the head. Punched up. El Fuego relays one in the air with his back heel. Found by Stiefbold. And the Hillbillies will try and work an attempt. Feldman. Body falls down behind him. Getting up okay. Looks to be number 14, Stiefbold, as this one's played on up. Cleared into pressure, and Fitzgerald with a calm header to the 50. Right back to the calmly controlling Verona Hillbillies. Touch upstairs. Deflected away by El Fuego, and Feldman runs onto it. Plays it to Jared Fisk. Fisk. Lancers trying to crack the scoreboard first. It's still 0-0. They played to an exciting 0-0 first half where all the Lancers seniors got a start in. A couple got their first and most likely only starts of their high school career, so a big honor for them. A lot of stories on the field of how these players got here. Phenomenal freshman year this team played. There's actually a picture, an archive of their freshman year, which you can check out on the Lancers Boys Soccer Instagram page, LHS Boys Soc. That's right, LHS BOYS SOC, no spaces, no underscores, nothing like that. Check them out for updates, score results, and even sometimes previews of game times, as especially you want to follow it for the state tournament, as if they win, they continue. If they lose, they go home. Their first state game will be this Monday. They have 2 more games after this. Now Hatra shanks across, and it will be a goal kick from the 6. Still in goal, Scott Duffy for the Hillbillies. Played up. Hillbillies control. Touched by Stiefbold. Played on up. Out close side for a Lancers throw-in. Little deflection off the Hillbillies bench, as Fitzgerald shares the laugh with the head coach. And now Hotcher from the 50 will gun one in close side. Headed up. Back to the 50. Found by Fitz. Ball in the air and relayed out of bounds for a Lancers throw-in. It will come from Dylan Santucci, who pump fakes and throws one on in. Fisher tries to find space as he touches one out of bounds near the official, who signals a Verona Hillbillies throw-in. 4 minutes in. We've played 44 minutes of soccer at the Jake, and we still have not seen a single goal this senior night for the Lancers in their last home game on the schedule. State tournament starts on Monday at 2, where the Lancers will take on Columbia for a rubber match. They're 2-0 against them. They played them in the county tournament and in the regular season. The regular season was a 4-goal victory for them at the Jake. Played on up, Charlie Grossman. Relay to Fisher. Fisher turns as his shot is deflected away for a corner off of Nicholas Handler. The Lancers trying to make some magic out of an early second half run. Whistles blow as Neil Hajid, the corner kick specialist, close side, will check on in. He'll take out Dylan Santucci, the right midfielder, where he will temporarily play. Hajib, a player who started off not getting too many minutes for the Lancers last year, was a very successful swing player who scored a goal at the varsity level. Didn't put up a point at the JV level, but a goal at the varsity level versus Central High School of Newark as he crosses one on in. Lancers header off the crossbar of the football goal post and rolls out back. So no credit to the Lancers there after a nice header attempt. And it will be a goal kick from the 6 for the Hillbillies. So the goal kick from the 6. Played on up. A Fisk header. Finds Fisher. Back to Fisk. Pinged it up to Hajib. Hajib's first touch in play. is successful as he controls and plays back to Fisher. Lancers chant now starting to formulate. As it dies down, El Fuego controls. He taps a weak pass that Malhotra's able to rescue back to El Fuego. El Fuego doesn't lose it as he's able to weave around the falling Vogel. El Fuego still controls. Pinches one on in. Fisk loses the ball. Vogel goes down once again, twice in the same area, and this time he earns the call late with 33:45. Here in the second half. Played up. Relayed into pressure, where Feldman just gets a touch on it and maneuvers by 3. Finds Chiserick. Chiserick, close side, pings one on up. He tries to give Fisher a run. Fisher. He is turned down by DeSpecchi, but Fisher still controls. Finds Grossman. Grossman bullied off the soccer ball. A nice touch here by Feldman. Feldman. Fisk. Possibly off a hand of a hillbilly, but no call. There's a fight that is won with the control of Stiefbold. However, Chiserick fights for it on back close side. He will try and work on it as he still controls. Taps one over to Fisher. Fisher's shot saved by Duffy and cleared away. Another shot opportunity, his third clear shot of the game for Fisher. First with the left foot, right at Duffy, who makes a big save, and Stiefbold's clearance gives the Lancers a corner kick, which is good why they kept their corner kick specialist, Neil Hajib, on in. Hajib crosses one in. This one squeezes wide. And out of play behind the net for a goal kick from the 6 as we have a substitution. Jake Rizzi checks in for the first time. A Hillbillies substitution as Rizzi will get some minutes, a player who's not seen too many minutes this year for the Hillbillies. 32:05 left to go. Played in from the 6. Bombed up to the 45. And Jared Fisk finds it. Cuts by 2. Ships one to Hajib, who takes a nice touch and reads the ball brilliantly. Finds Henselwitz. Henselwitz. To Hajib, it's deflected right back to him. Henselwitz will now cross one in. A strong, a strong cross that is deflected out. And now controlled by the Hillbillies with 31:30. Feldman. He takes an excellent first touch on the soccer ball as he will now cut by and make a nice play to reset the ball over to Mr. Speed, Krish Malhotra. Lucas Chiserick. Krish Malhotra. Jake Fitzgerald. El Fuego. Chiserick to Mr. Speed and punched away, but the Lancers still control as Fisher gets under it. Taps one up. El Fuego plays one up in the air where it's run on one bounce and an attempted clearance is failed. Andy Pessoa can't find help as this one is cleared away. Time for Fitzgerald as he loses it, but a miscommunication, and Krish Malhotra will save the day as he limps on away. Somehow this ball's still not out of bounds. Fitzgerald finds Pessoa, and Fitzgerald gets it back, and he also stumbles. There's something going on in that corner. I'm very curious to know what it is. The Lancers control far side. Here's a run opportunity. Fisk. Grossman. Grossman. And a shanked pass that works out in the favor of Fitzgerald, who's been having a strong day. El Fuego. Pessoa. Grossman, it's a poor pass, but finding it is Noah Fisher. Charlie Grossman works far side. 30 minutes left to go. I will have to say in regulation, as there's currently not a goal on the scoreboard to define who has a lead yet. Still no one has opened this game. We've already had our halftime break well long ago. Pessoa somehow is called on that, and the Lancers bench despises that one. To no surprise, he just fell down and swung a leg on the soccer ball. Reasonable complaints on the Lancers bench. Free kick Hillbillies, as you can really hear the Lancers giving it to the officials. Hoffman looks like he's stretching out on the Lancers bench to potentially check in. Waiting to check in for the Hillbillies, where's number 9? That's Brandon Green. Hillbillies wearing all white with their red accents. that say Verona and their number on both the front and the back of their jersey, and the Lancers wearing their home green. Shipped up. Hillbillies control. Played up into pressure. Henselwitz reads it far, lets it go. Henselwitz is called off, and it's nicely signaled by Paredes as he quickly rolls one up. Paredes likes to work quick, and his defense and midfield read him quite well. The forwards catch on as here's El Fuego. Finds Chisarick. Played up. Here's Fisher. Fisher takes a cutback and tries to pass one up, and it's kicked away by DeSpecchi. 28-45. Whistle blows. Hoffman checks in, as well as Green for the Hillbillies. Hoffman for the Lancers, most likely to take this throw-in. Hoffman, a bullet of an arm, a baseball player and a basketball player. JV was able to take down the Verona Hillbillies today at 4 p.m. down at the Oval, as Hoffman uses his body and does not get a call, as he does an excellent job earning the Lancers the ball. Chisarick. Through the legs, he's able to find Fisher. El Fuego, who opens up the field with his left foot. El Fuego uses his right to pass it on in instead. Grossman, deflected shot, he goes down. Fisk's shot deflected away, and the Hillbillies take a breather. Henselwitz reads that one nicely. Lancers opportunity. But the Hillbillies take it away. They pass one up at the 50. Alexander John with a possible opportunity, but the Lancers back line, as they've done all year, doing an excellent job, clears it away. Here's Hoffman. Fisher attempts a dummy, but it's deflected away for a Lancers throw-in. Fisher thought that he did not get away with that one, but he actually did just brilliantly. So the Lancers control. Chisarick, a poor touch, it's taken away. Hoffman punches that one away. A slide tackle in from Pessoa as he earns the Lancers the ball. Worked far side by Fisk, and Henselwitz rolls on in. Henselwitz cuts inwards, finds Hajib, a player who is very good with the left foot technically. Crosses one on in, nobody there for it, but a very strong ball nonetheless. Hoffman, with time and with space, loses his space and uses his time to pass it away. The Hillbillies now work on up. Controlled there by Cleaver. There's a ping far side. On the run for it is Alexander John, and it's poked away by Hoffman, having a great game. Throw in for the Hillbillies. So a Hillbillies thrown with 26.5 left to go. We could see overtime soccer here. This one's passed on in and controlled by Della Ferra. Fisk gets in the way of that one, and Grossman plays one up to Fisher. Fisher with space. He's chased by two, but they're too far away as Fisher buries one into the back of the net for the first Lancers goal of the game. Noah Fisher on the breakaway. A nice 1-2 pass. Grossman finds the connection. And the Lancers crack the scoreboard first with 26-13 on senior night. So as El Fuego goes to the bench to get some water, the Lancers trot on back. Give Grossman assist credit for Fisher's goal. We knew it was going to come. Fisher taking some brilliant touches, making some smart decisions on the soccer ball up top. And the Lancers are able to crack the scoreboard. It came eventually. 26-13 left to go. Here this regular season at the Jake is we kick off for the third time tonight. This time with a team in the lead. And it's the Lancers, but the Hillbillies will try and respond as Hoffman once again uses his body to his advantage. There's no call. Punched up in the air. Hoffman plays it on up. Nice read by Grossman. Grossman tries to cut on in. Tries to work the ball. He has an assist tonight. Grossman with his 5th assist of the season. He's now tied with Fisk for most assists. He's also tied with Fisk for most goals. So these two have really done an excellent job propelling the Lancers statistically to where they are right now, and that is a 12-3-1 record here at senior night and a 5th seed in a very hard sectional bracket. We see a state tournament in full this year that was shortened with no county tournament last year due to COVID-19. Lancers still very successful. 9-2-2 they went last year. They were also successful on the girls' side as they also propelled themselves in the same sectional bracket to the the sectional finals, where they lost as well to Montclair on the road a day after the boys. They were able to put a goal in the back of the net, but gave up 4. They also lost by 3. Very similar for both the Lancers and the Mounties last year on the boys and girls side. It's a throw-in for Hoffman near the 50. As he guns one up where it's touched to Chiserick. Lofsiegel tries to body the ball, but he can't do so. Fisk cuts on by, weaves and works on back. Brilliant communication with Feldman, who plays far side, to Henslowitz, 24.5. Henslowitz up to Grossman. Grossman tries to find help. He just gets it to Henslowitz, who works under pressure and will pass a deflected ball away. On it is Alex Yucht, who checks back into the game. Yucht with time, Yucht with space, Yucht with the pass, over to Fisk. Lofsiegel tries to work a 1-2. Fisk just finds it. Back to Siegel. Siegel is offside, as his shot waves well wide anyways. But the Lancers creating opportunities, thinking of runs, and trying to run away with this soccer game as they currently, at the moment, hold all the momentum and are up by a goal. Grossman's assist on the breakaway to Fisher, who easily buries it into the back of the net for a Lancers goal. Goldsmith looks to check in, a fitting goal for a senior here on senior night. And, well, Fisher with his 4th goal, as he's almost done with his 2nd game that I am mentioning within these 4 goals, as he scored 3 goals on Friday night versus East Side of Newark on the road at East Side Stadium in the Iron Bound. Fisher on varsity since his sophomore year. Last year, a phenomenal center back. This year, a phenomenal everything. He can play just about anywhere, as this pass is able to find unintentionally Leo Andrade. In pressure and headed away by Hoffman, who's having a great day in the back. Hoffman really asserting his strength, size, and dominance this evening. Very athletic, 3-sport athlete, played varsity basketball and JV baseball last year, as well as a swing player for soccer, where he saw an assist to his name to fellow swing player last year, El Fuego Andy Pessoa. Fisk works far to Henslowitz. Henslowitz with the cross at the 18. It's poked away. Nice play by Despecki. And played on up into pressure, where Feldman, the last line, punches it up to his head, and he gets a head on it, but is called. Aggressiveness earns a Hillbillies free kick from roughly their 35, it looks to be. Oh, no, they're going to push him back to the 40. That's number 16, Andrew Della Ferra, 22-10. Captain Della Ferra will communicate. The line is the 18 at the moment, where all the players are standing. Verona look to check in 2. Livingston look to check in 1 as soon as they can, as we're getting close to the impromptu 4th quarter. Finally, Della will send one in to pressure, where Hoffman once again clears the job. There's a hard punch of a pass right there from Della Ferra. Substitutions. Check in Ben Goldsmith for the Lancers. And for the Hillbillies, number 7, John Alexander. Well, Alexander John. And number 4, Jake Vogel. El Fuego checks off for the Lancers, as well as Rizzi and Cleaver, 21-20. Played on in. Far side, it's Henslowitz. Henslowitz. Feldman. Zach Feldman, looking to next year, get his 4th varsity letter. Hoffman punches one up. Right away, though, to Verona as Vogel plays one back. This one is chipped high and too hard of a touch on down as Siegel punches one on up, and the Lancers control off of a nice touch by the Vassar College commit, Jared Fisk. Feldman. Fierce Feldman. Far side, Aaron Henslowitz as Henslow cuts on in. Finds help from Goldsmith. Goldsmith with 2 goals on the season for the Lancers, including one of them here at home at the Jake during the county tournament, as Hoffman deflects a ball off of a Hillbilly for a Lancers throw-in. 20 minutes left to go. One goal this game, Noah Fisher, assisted by Charlie Grossman for the Livingston Lancers here on their senior night as Hoffman wears number 16 and guns the ball in. Off of Siegel, still under pressure. And finally worked away. Ooh, two Lancers get their, a Lancer and a Hillbilly get their cleats collided. Hoffman pokes one up into the back line where it's controlled by the Hillbillies and pressed on upwards. Feldman, time which he loses, takes a nice touch to control, tries to leave around two, he goes down. Tries to get a little too tricky there, and the Hillbillies will try and work something up. Punched up and just wide. Fitzgerald got his boots crossed. And the Lancers will make a substitution. And checking back on in the man with the goal, the senior Noah Fisher. Likely playing his last regular season home game at home versus the here at the Jake. As checking out will be junior Charlie Grossman. 9 goals on the season, currently tied with Jared Fisk. Fisk led the Lancers in goals last year. These are two players we're talking who could definitely be all-conference. Grossman, maybe even all-state next year. He continues to just get better and better and better. He was a freshman on varsity, worked his way into the starting lineup last year where he had an excellent sectional tournament to rebound off of a pretty solid year, and this year just an all-star soccer player, all-conference, no question. Goldsmith, Hoffman, Fisk to Goldsmith. Goldsmith, the PESA product. Back to Hoffman. Hoffman, the LSC product, guns one on up. Fisher finds a cross that's shanked. Out of bounds, but a very good effort by the stumbling Noah Fisher, who had some cramping and leg issues during the county tournament, but looking at his statistics and him tonight, he seems to be just all right. Not planning on playing club soccer this winter or spring before he departs for college after the summer. So this will be the last couple of soccer games he will play. Hopefully he hopes to make a nice state tournament run, starting off with a deep dive into the sectional tournament. Dressed on up from the goal kick at the 6 for the Hillbillies. They control. Vogel, headed at the 50. Goldsmith. Chiserick to Fisk, but Fisk misreads that one. Stumbles over it. Barely stays on his feet. Hillbillies control. At the 30. Chipped up. Ball punched on the ground. Feldman. Fisk. Works to Feldman on the 1-2. Feldman still goes. He takes an attackative header far side. Feldman is powering through. He's fierce Feldman. He finds Mr. Speed, who pokes one far, but that was quite the run for Zach Feldman. Put that one on the highlight reel. He can punch through with every body part. He's got a strong throw in as well, and he is the Lancers sweeper by definition. But he really can play anywhere, as last year he had more than just a couple goals at the forward position and played a lot at the midfield. Lancers played on a Jared Fisk from far. This one is also wide far side as well. We've seen a lot of wide far side shots from the Lancers tonight, which is the reason why it's only 1-0. As you can see, the floodlights are on here as we're playing some nighttime soccer at the Jake, last home game of the regular season as anticipated, by the schedule. .5 left to go. Hillbillies anticipating 2 more substitutions as Cleaver and Pyro look to check in. Pyro looking to get his first couple minutes, as well as Cleaver as this one's played on up. Headed in the air at the 50. Punched up at the 50. Fitzgerald works up. Fitzgerald plays on up. Poked in the air. Headed up. And shanked out for a Lancers throw-in in their defensive zone, close side with 15:50 left to go. This throw-in will come from Matt Hoffman. He takes a solid run up and guns one up the field. Headed in the air. Mr. Speed bolts to the ball. Mr. Speed will try and fight Handler for it. Handler just barely controlling. He cuts on in and leaves around 2 Lancers. It's a nice play by Handler to avoid the dangerous Mr. Speed. Chiserick. Whoa, he's going to get into a little scrum right there with Handler. Chiserick knew what he was doing. He wasn't going for the ball there. 15.5 left to go. Getting a little chippy and chilly here at the Jake. Last home game for the Lancers is their senior night, as according to the schedule. The sectional tournament is the next time the Lancers will see themselves at home. It is on Monday. It is at 2 p.m. You can catch it right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS network. Hoffman. Passed at the 50. In the middle, here's Goldsmith as he works far side. Hanselvitz. Lancers up 1-0. They control the pace of this ball game, and the pace at the moment as well. Hanselvitz headed in the air. Fisk goes down. He doesn't get a call. Advantage is actually called as this one is played into pressure. Attempted clearance, weaving outside. Stifled and deflected away. It's a throw-in for the Hillbillies as two will look to check in for the Hillbillies. Currently 7:56 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 minutes away from the top of the hour. A throw-in for the Hillbillies. Here's the throw-in with 14 minutes left to go. Under pressure, Chiserick. Here's Fisk. Fisk. Fisher opens up the field. Fisher cuts by one. He shoots, and he has his second goal of the game as he buries it into the back of the net for a Lancers goal. Noah Fisher, 5 goals in 2 games. Give him 3 on the road versus Eastside and give him 2 at home here for senior night versus the Hillbillies. He gets the crowd rolling. That's Noah Fisher. An impressive 2 goals from Noah Fisher as he checks off and gets an applause from this Lancers crowd. They may not be big, but they are loud at the moment because Fisher is propelling the Lancers above the Hillbillies here on this great senior night. 5 goals in 2 games is quite the mantle to hold. And we're getting close to that sectional tournament, so he needs to stay red hot for Lancers success. It's 2-0, thanks to Fisher. A little communication with the Lancers bench as we play soccer. 4th kickoff of the game. Ball played in the air and headed up. Around Miller. Header from Stifled and punched away by Fitzgerald with 13.5 left to go. Thrown on in. Crossed. Paredes gets in the way of that one as he tries to earn a clean shutout this evening. He's about 13 minutes away from doing so. Evan Bader looking to check in for the Lancers, a player who's seen some starts this season at the beginning. A player who was anticipated to be a swing player who ended up spending almost the entire season with varsity leading up to the sectional tournament, starting 5 days from today on this chilly and cool Wednesday night at the Jake. 12:55 left to go. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock. Senior night an hour through. Actually, I should say 90 minutes through as we kicked off at roughly 6:30. Senior night festivities, 6:15. Feldman, the last line, takes a nice attackative touch. Loses it once again. Miller will clean up the heavy touch. A nice play by Colin Miller. A great senior effort this evening. Lobsiegel can't relay one on up to Mr. Speed. Whistle blows. It's a Lancers free kick with 12.5 left to go. Fisk plays in. Fitzgerald. Chiserick. Punched up. Fitzgerald and a whistle comes in. 12:10 left to go. Senior night soccer here at L.J. Jacobson Field. The JV able to win their game earlier. The future is bright. They have an over 500 record. Freshman team having a strong season as well. Rade Dobby, a product for the Livingston Lancers. He's seen some varsity time this year. In between 10 and 15 goals, a rough estimate is, of the amount of domination he's done. We don't have freshman level statistics for you, but we can tell you Rade Dobby, Jacob Lowenthal, 2 phenoms in the Lancers program who've been called up to JV and even varsity a couple times in the county tournament, only for Rade Dobby. Goalkeeping-wise, seen a couple call-ups as well from their starting goalkeeper. Now Hotcher drives on through, his cross is punched away. Ball in the air. Hitter comes on in as it's swung away. Time for Henselwitz. Played on up, relayed, yucked. Henselwitz cuts on in, he still controls as he punches one on up to yucked and it's out of bounds for a throw-in for the Hillbillies in their defensive territory far side. We see some substitutions. 3 will check in for Verona. 1 will check in for the Lancers, it's Evan Bader. We see 40 for Verona check in, Moore, 17 Chesney, and 13 Breitenbach. Breitenbach and Moore checking in for the first time, as well as Bader for the Lancers, as Henselwitz will chug on off with 10:40 left to go. It's 2-0 Livingston. Throw into pressure. Feldman having a great game back there and just a great season. He's likely all-state as a junior this year. Chases it down, but he won't have to do anything as trying to put it away is Fitzgerald, but the Hillbillies taken over. But Chisarick uses his body to intercept a pass moving in the wrong direction. Chisarick guns one on up. It's a nice ball to lob. Siegel just a little tardy to the party. As Scott Duffy gets in the way of that one with 10 minutes left to go in the soccer game. We've played 70 of the 80 anticipated minutes. We're having a little fight there. Fisk putting his hands on the player as we'll play on. And there's the whistle. A little above the 50. Hillbillies free kick just in attacking territory. And we have warming up Smooth Hands Hans for the Lancers. Warming up with 3-sport athlete Matt Hoffman on the bench. Who got his first varsity start today. 9.5 left to go. It's 2-0 Lancers. This one is out, and it is a goal kick from the 6 for Logan Paredes. Coach Rubenetti got to be happy with the performance tonight from a player that's fringe on the injury list. Noah Fisher, 5 goals in 2 games for the Lancers. Just a phenomenal game for him. Feldman chips one up. It's to Bader. Bader can't find it. A swing and a miss, and now trying to propel upwards over Verona. They can't do so. Fisk deflects in his favor. Opens up the field. Fisk ships one to Bader, but it's deflected away. Bader still trying to look for his first varsity goal as he's gotten a lot of minutes on varsity this year as he tries to go on the attack, but it's cleared away just in time by Duffy. Ooh, getting tricky and scary with it, and finally clearing it away is Despecki. This one just goes out. Chisarick knows it. He picks it up before the whistle comes in. Hans will check in and take out Logan Paredes. It's been a clean sheet for Paredes. Can Hans complete the job? 2 check in for the Hillbillies, but that's not why people are cupping their hands. They're cupping their hands because this is Paredes' senior night send-off. He's still got more soccer to play, a couple more regular season games on the road, and then a big sectional tournament. But Logan Paredes, on his senior night send-off, he's done a phenomenal job tonight and just had a phenomenal season. So this one will be thrown on in now. Headed out of pressure, and this clearance is deflected off Malhotra for a Hillbillies throw-in. Seven and a half left to go. Starting to get windy here at the Jake as we're in the wrapping up stages here. A little under 8 minutes left to go as this is a shanked clearance that almost gets into the Lancer student section. They got excited there. A decent amount in the student section. Roughly 30 or so. Fisk. Jared Fisk deflects a pass attempt to the back line and gives Verona a possible attackative attempt. Deflected right back to him. They will now try and work it up the field. Fitzgerald prepares the body but doesn't need to use it as the turf monster gobbles that ball on up. With 7 minutes left to go, it's a throw-in for the Lancers. It'll come from Mr. Speed Krish Malhotra. Malhotra with the throw-in. Bader gets ahead on it. It's a flex out of bounds for a Hillbillies throw-in close side. And ball boy Fisher will give the ball for a throw-in. That will come from number 9, Brandon Green. Green guns one up. Touched high in the air. No head on it. It's a foot by the Hillbillies. Miller gets ahead on it at the 50, and the Hillbillies will control. Remember to tune in this Friday. Lancers play their last football game this season, as they did not qualify for the playoffs after a home loss in their last home game of the regular season versus Montclair. As Feldman cleans up the job, Lancers football will play this Friday at the Bloomfield Bengals at their off-campus football facility. I'll be on the call with Jacob Gore. And the Lancers 3-5 this year. They won their first game of the season, shutting out their rivals, the Milburn Millers, the day after a very tough storm that hit the community. And then it was a tough losing streak for them, including a 35-0 loss to West Orange and a roughly 40-7 loss to East Orange, as Bader's offsides on his possible run attempt. Going back to football, as the fans don't like that one. The Lancers, after losing a bunch of games, turned it around and won 2 straight, where they thought they pushed themselves back into the playoff race, but they couldn't pull away against Montclair. They're up 10-3. They blew it with just minutes to go to tie it. They took an overtime lead that was quickly tied again, and then Montclair were able to take advantage of Brandon Kennedy, who's had a phenomenal year as a quarterback's poor pass that was intercepted. So Lancers football will send off their seniors on the road at Bloomfield. They're going to play a team that's been struggling, that just lost to the Mountaineers. You can catch that game on the D1 Media Pro on-demand function on the NFHS Network. This one to Bader, punched away. Still a question who's going to take Kenny's spot as the quarterback. Kenny, one of the better quarterbacks to remember for the Lancers. Kenny was preceded by a current Penn State student and former Lancer shortstop for the baseball team, Dave Coutuno. 4:35 left to go. Fitzgerald gets on that one, punches it on up. Bader relays one on back. Siegel loses the chase as Duffy scoops that one on up. 4:20 left to go. Cleared away. Fisk. Fitzgerald, Jake Fitzgerald. Phenomenal freshman year he had. His sophomore season he spent at the left back position on JV. Last year he got a start on varsity and got some quality minutes. He checked on in for his friend Chris Malhotra at the right back position last year in the sectional finals. So he got some key minutes for the Lancers. And then prior to that one, well, actually I should say after that one, we come into this year where he earns himself a starting spot after being one of the first couple off the bench. So a lot of Hillbillies looking to check in. That's 5 Hillbillies looking to check in, and just 1, Chris Kane for the Lancers looking to check in, as taking this free kick will be Andrew Delaferra, one of the captains for this Hillbilly squad, as he bombs one on up into pressure where it is headed away by Miller. Siegel with space. Siegel still with time. He guns one up the field to Bader. Bader chugs on down against the last man. And it is brilliantly read defensively, but Bader able to find the soccer ball. Fisk. His pass to Chiswick a little too weak, but Chiswick puts his body on the soccer ball, and there's no call. Looked a little aggressive there. Chiswick will dive on in now from outside the 18. He crosses one on in. He finds Bader. Bader can't finish. Yucked. Excuse me, that wasn't Henselwitz. That was Fisk, as it's deflected away. Almost another Lancers opportunity. Fisk that was, who couldn't finish off of Yuck's pass, and now the Lancers control at the back. A swarm of opportunities. The Lancers couldn't finish and make it a 3-goal lead. Could they here, though? Chiswick's cross deflected away. They will take their time now on the corner kick and actually check in too, as to no surprise, Neil Hajib checks in for the corner. And also checking in will be Chris Kane, number 26 and number 22. The clock will stop with 2:18 as per protocol for substitutions with under 5 minutes left to go. These Lancers will get a standing ovation. They will play in their last senior night as seniors this 4th and final year on varsity. Or I should say in the program, not on varsity. As it is a corner kick close side. So here comes the corner. Scuffed on in, and Duffy finds it. And Duffy catches it. Bombs one on up. 2:05 left to go. Feldman. Back out. Fitzgerald. Bombs one on up. A little back and forth soccer. Feldman gets a touch on that one. Verona baseball had a phenomenal year this year. They absolutely dominated, had a very strong record. They sent a pitcher to Florida to play college baseball at the D1 level, who stands 6'8". Goldsmith will try and dive on in. Cleared away. Lancers throw in. Substitution, Hoffman checks on in. He'll take out Zach Feldman. Clock stops. Feldman, a great game. Hoffman having a great game as well as he checks on back in. Hoffman getting some key minutes this year. Last year he was a swing player. Freshman year he was a freshman center back. Sophomore year he was on JV, where he also got some center backing and outside backing minutes. Last year he really played everywhere. He played up top a little bit at the beginning and end of the season at the JV level. Got some outside back minutes at the varsity level as well, where he had an assist at the right back position. 65 seconds left to go in the soccer game. It's going to be a corner from the corner kick specialist himself, the junior Neil Hajib. Hajib bombs one up. A Lancer's head gets on it. That was Hoffman, but it's waved wide as he will retreat on back to his sweeper position as the clock runs down. 42 seconds left to play here at the Jake this senior night. Ryan Lowy on the call as fans start to depart. It's a Lancers victory. The only 2 goals in this game were from Noah Fisher. Grossman had a phenomenal assist on one of them as Lancers will try and push pressure again. Kane can't get to it as it's swept away by DeSpecchi with 20 seconds left to go, and this will likely slow down the pace of the soccer game and wrap us up. So senior night is success for the Lancers and their 13th win of the season. They will move to 13-3-1. Verona 507-7-1 as this is game number 16 for them. For the Lancers, this is number 18 as that will do the soccer game. 13-3-1. The Lancers move to, on the other side, the Hillbillies fall to 7-7-1 as your final score of this soccer game is the Lancers 2 and the Verona Hillbillies nothing here on senior night. 11 seniors, all 11 got their start, and they were happy to walk away with a win after 2 goals from Noah Fisher. So that will do it. I'm Ryan Lowy on the call. I'd like to thank you for watching right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS Network. Once again, final score, Lancers 2, Hillbillies nothing. Have a great rest of your evening.
He's going to take it himself for a championship. A double play wins it with grace.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. Makay's on touchdown. Wins it. The championship.
He's